Bonjour chers étudiants, moi je m'appelle Dr Jaivardhan Singh et je suis votre professeur de français. Aujourd'hui dans cette vidéo, nous allons voir comment est-ce qu'on peut entamer un thème pour le niveau B1 pour la partie production orale pour le monologue. In this video, we will see how we can take up a B1 level speaking section monologues question, which at times is quite intimidating and troublesome for students because they don't get to know as to how can I speak for that long. Even generally for speaking 3 to 4 minutes is a long time. We have to have a planned construction of ideas and thoughts in our mind. We do get 10 minutes in advance to prepare our ideas in a structured way. But even then, at times students, when they come to speak, they just wrap everything up in 2 minutes or let's say 1 minute. And they don't get to know as to how can I stretch it to a span of 4 to 5 minutes. Well, in this video, we are going to learn how to do it in an effective way and yet in a way that you say everything with a lot of confidence. Well, let's look at a topic for that. So I have taken a topic that is sujet 1 qui s'intitule L'homme esclave de sa voiture. Il y a très peu de temps que le moteur à explosion est apparu. Il n'y avait pas une seule auto dans le public en 1900. En un peu plus de 60 ans, l'automobile a changé toute la civilisation humaine en civilisation mécanique. C'est l'automobile qui a changé le visage du pays. Aujourd'hui, l'automobile est en train de détruire les villes des hommes. D'après Casseur de Pub, la revue de l'environnement mental, novembre 2004. So once you have read the topic well and you have got a hang of it as to what it's talking about, you can go back to the title because it gives you a clear idea in a larger perspective. It says, L'homme esclave de sa voiture. So man, slave of his car. So you get an idea, okay, they're talking about man and how he's a slave, how he's totally dependent on his car now. And for even small movements, he would use his car. And we see even here in the explanation, it talks that how automobile has changed the whole human civilization into a mechanical or a technical or a machine kind of a civilization. So this change is felt by every one of us. Now, how you go about this topic? It's very simple. The idea through this video is to help you break the monologue in different subsections. When we have subsections in front of us, it becomes easier for us to move ahead and to talk for a length of 5 to 7 minutes in French. Alors, pour commencer, vous allez présenter le texte. For starting, you will have to present the text. It is a general trend that you do it this way. Vous allez dire « Bonjour, moi je m'appelle Jay et aujourd'hui, je vais parler sur le thème qui s'intitule « L'homme esclave de sa voiture » tiré du Casseur de Pub, la revue de l'environnement mental, novembre 2004. You'll have to describe the source of text, you'll have to talk about the title, and you'll also have to give a little line about what this text talks about. You would say, after having talked about the title, about the source, you would say, c'est un texte qui parle de la situation de l'industrie automobile dans la société contemporaine. You can keep it very simple. It is a text that talks about the situation of automobile industry in the contemporary society. It's a very simple line that you dash in, which helps you to give a little context to the interlocutor, which in this case is the jury or the examiners. After having talked about the text, you would talk about parler de ce phénomène, or you would talk about cette situation en détail. It's a very interesting way to start. You would always do a time travel. Ensure that you do a time travel. You would move from past to today. So you would use words like, I would put it for you here. You would use words like jadis, autrefois, il y a belle lurette, so these are the ways in which you can transport the interlocutor, the examiner in this case, into past, and then you would do a time travel by using imparfait. It is the right time to explain and to show you have a strong command of imparfait as well in your French knowledge. You would say, il y a belle lurette. On n'avait pas de voiture. Les gens vivaient tranquillement. Il n'y avait pas de bruit. Et la vie était très calme, très simple. You know, you would set the context in past. And then you would evolve it. And then you would, after having talked a little bit about the past situation, how the world used to be like, how the society used to be like, you move on to the contemporary situation. You would say, mais aujourd'hui, on voit que. And then you would start talking about what is happening in the contemporary situation. Mais aujourd'hui, on voit que, and whatever you have to explain. This time travel helps you to not only use a few minutes, I would say a minute or 1.5 minutes, but it also helps you to set the context. in a way that you have shown as to how things were earlier and how things have come to a situation in the present scenario. After having talked about this situation, this phenomena, you would donner des aspects positifs ou négatifs. So when you move from this introductory part to giving positive and the negatives, you can always say, maintenant, je vais parler des aspects positifs liés à ce phénomène. So there are benefits that have come in place because of this condition. You would say, tout d'abord, first of all, what is the situation? Il y a beaucoup de possibilités de se déplacer facilement. You can move here and there easily. Ensuite, or deuxièmement, on voit que on peut faire des choses rapidement. Avant, il fallait prendre des métros, des trains, mais maintenant, avec sa propre voiture, on peut se déplacer immédiatement. You can say these kind of things. So 2 points, 3 points would suffice at B1 level. And when you move to the negative points, you can always dash in an expression wherein you could say, tout ce qui brille n'est pas d'or. All that glitters is not gold. This not only shows the examiner that you have a strong hold of French expressions, but also it helps you in transiting in a very smooth way. After having spoken on the negative points, for example, avec beaucoup de voitures, on voit qu'il y a beaucoup de pollution. On voit qu'il y a beaucoup d'embouteillages. Même pour aller à son bureau, pour un trajet de 10 minutes, on met à peu près 1 heure des fois. Alors, c'est très énervant, c'est difficile. So you're going to talk about it. Ensure to put in some examples as well. So after having said 2 to 3 positive points, you can move through an expression on the negative points and you can explain 2 to 3 negative points as well. Then you would give your own experience of a car. Alors, en ce qui me concerne is a great way to talk about yourself, or quant à moi, pour moi, selon moi. You can have these kind of constructions, but I think en ce qui me concerne is a better among all these options which you can pick up. And you would say, en ce qui me concerne, j'ai ma propre voiture, mais ce que je fais, what I do. So you talk about your own experience of having a car, or if you don't have a car, then how do you manage and how do you think it's good for your own personal story that you share with the examiner, because this is something that they would be really looking forward to. That helps you to speak for at least another 1 to 2 minutes, your own experience. You have the liberty of taking gaps, saying, that's perfectly fine because that's a natural way. Of course, you have your brouillon, your rough sheet in front of you that helps you to steer through and to move accordingly and advance as per the sequence of things that you have written. And in the end, you would conclude and you would say, et pour conclure, je dirais que, and you would give your opinion in a way that you would sum it up. So we see that it is done in a very structured way. It is done in a way that is progressive, and you start from nothing and you take over everything and you come to the conclusion. That helps the examiner to understand as to what your ideas are, what your thoughts are, and they are well organized as well. In the end, do not forget to use the C clauses and subjunctive mode so that you show that this is what you have learned. For example, something that you could use is, si tout le monde faisait attention à l'environnement, le monde serait un paradis. Something very general you can use. If everyone paid attention to the environment around, then the world would be like a paradise, something of this sort. And even you can use subjunctive where you could simply say, c'est nécessaire qu'on fasse des efforts. C'est nécessaire qu'on fasse des efforts. It's just a sample statement that I'm putting across, but you can pick any that suits you. But ensure that you do show your command over C clauses and also on the clauses like subjunctive formations. That helps examiner to understand your level, because they would not explicitly ask you, could you tell me something in subjunctive or could you tell me something in C clause? So that's your effort to show it to them. Also, I've put connectors. Please ensure that you use them in your expression, wherein you would use tout d'abord, après, ensuite, non seulement, mais aussi, d'une part, d'autre part, d'un côté, de l'autre côté. That helps you to give variation to your content. Then, as I mentioned about the expressions, whenever you're moving from one point to the other point, ensure to have used expressions like tout ce qui brille n'est pas d'or, à un cœur voyant rien d'impossible, vouloir c'est pouvoir. You can use very general expressions that help you to move from positive to negative. You could also say toute médaille a son revers. Toute médaille a son revers, which means that every coin has other side as well, which helps you to move from positive points to the negative points. And as I mentioned about the clauses, please do use them. And in the end, ensure that you have given a complete idea of your complete understanding of B1 vocabulary, grammar concepts, and everything that you've learned in B1 in a nutshell in this B1 monologue. I hope this video is clear to you, and if you have still more doubts, please feel free to contact me, and we are there to help you for that. See you soon. Thank you.